Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. This evening, let's begin by answering a few questions on the subject of Griha Pravesh. This is a combined question from Morning Song from Santa Rosa and Kumari Ma from Canada. Namaste to you both. Since so many people these days rent their homes rather than own their homes, does this somehow apply to them? How can we bless our house if it is an apartment? You can bless your apartment. You do the same thing. If you can't do it outside the door of the apartment, then do it outside the patio door to the apartment. If you can't have a home of fire, well, maybe you can have a little barbecue on your patio. We used to use a little hibachi type of fireplace or a portable barbecue just to put on and we would set it on a couple of bricks on the ground and make the home. It doesn't have to be a huge Havadkum. You can improvise all of the pujas. Remember, every ingredient for every offering is located in the Garden of Delight, which is right here. You can just pull out the flowers, and here's your silk sari, and here's your golden ornaments, and here is the delicious meal that I cooked for you, and that is as valid a puja as any other offering. The objective is not to go out in the bazaar and gather things. It's not about the stuff. If you learn the mantra, the stuff will come to you. If you spend all your time wandering in the marketplace looking for the proper ingredients, then you'll never have time to learn the mantra. My experience is focus on the mantra, and all that is needed will be added to you. So if it's an apartment, do the same thing. If you can establish a pot, water, especially if it's an apartment, other people have lived there. There have been so many other vibrations there. There's been so much stuff that's gone on in that space. You want to purify it and fill it to the best of your ability. Yes, definitely Morning Song and definitely Kumari Ma. This does apply to apartments as well as to houses. Nanda has asked, is it true that one should not live in round or triangular rooms? I don't know where you got that. Nanda, I've never heard those proscriptions before. It's not a prohibition. It is, it may be a superstition. If you can make the space work for you, then it'll work. Now, there are many yurts which are circular. There are tents and teepees and all kinds of other structures. We've had occasion to live in them, and we just made it the house so full of good vibrations that within a few days of our having taken occupancy, it just worked. And it felt good, and it was homely, and there was an altar. You know, when we go into a space, no matter whose space it is, if we're going to be there for any time at all, the first thing we do is make the altar conducive to our worship. That usually means making it a little longer, a little wider, a little broader, and making tiers and spaces so that you can put the flowers, you can put the deities, you can do the puja the way you want to. Now, when you do that, be it a round space, a triangular space, a rectangle, or a square, it just doesn't make any difference. You make that space conform to your needs, and then those needs will communicate your vibrations, and the walls have ears. Sing them the mantras, and they'll be so happy they'll sing them back to you. They'll echo your sounds, they'll echo your bhavana, they'll echo the refrain all throughout. So I don't know any prohibition to the staying in a round or rectangular space. Kalyananda, Kalima Namaste. What is the correct procedure for preparing a new home for habitation? Well, you want to make it as clean as possible. I mean, that's the first thing. You don't want to move in with other people's junk. And I'm sure you're going to fill it up enough with your own. So the first thing, Kalima, you'll want to clean the space, fumigate the space, sanitize the space, make it appropriate for you and your vibration. In other words, you're going to turn that space into a temple of God. It's going to become an ashram. You can't go into a dirty space and try to make that a respectful ashram where God is loved. You got to go in with scrubbing brushes and detergent and disinfectant, and you've got to clean and purify, maybe repaint, make it all shiny and bright. And then you want the first person to move into the house is God. After you've performed the Griha Pravesh, you put the ashes all around, you wash the spiritual vibrations, you've made a Lakshman Rekha around the house, you are insulated and protected, and all inimical vibrations have been dispersed, and you are protected for any of them to return. No one can enter into that house. No bad vibration. So now the next thing is to create the altar for God. Worry about your own space last. First, take care of God's space, and then you'll find you're going to need some facilities to prepare the prasad for God, so then you start moving into the kitchen, and then after you move into the kitchen, you can prepare a little prasad for God, and you make the offering, and then you can think about moving into the living rooms and bedrooms and other rooms of the house. So the first thing you want to do is create a space for God, and then to facilitate God's puja. So is there any negative, let's see, if one has to occupy the home when it is only partially completed, is the procedure repeated at completion? You can repeat this procedure as much as you have time and patience to do. It will be a benefit to you. It will be a benefit to your family. Hey, family, hey, let's purify the house. Let's make this house pure. Let's make God move into this house for the first time. Okay, take out all the garbage. Everybody clean your room. Everyone clean your closets. Everyone clean the garage. Everyone clean out all the excess stuff. Now let's shine, let's clean, let's paint where it's necessary, let's make it new and bright and clean, reorganize the altar. We reorganize the altar at least every 3 months. Navaratri, thank goodness, it comes 4 times a year. In Magh, which is in January, in Chaitra, which is in March or April, in Ashar, which is in July, and in Ashwin, which is in October. 3 months apart, there's a 9-day festival, and the 9-day festival says that we're going to establish new pots for the goddesses, we're going to establish new clothes for the goddesses, we're going to clean all the goddesses, everybody gets a fresh paint if they need it. I do. The kajal in my eyes, it wears off after 3 months. And everyone at Brahma gets a shave. Only one that doesn't get a shave is Swami. But everybody else gets a haircut and shave and a haircut, 2 bits. And we all get jazzed up for the Navaratri. So they get new clothes, they get cleaned, all the cobwebs taken down, all the misplaced flowers that were thrown from the outfield get picked up, everything dusted, swept, cleaned and polished, new clothes, new ornaments, new crowns, everything sent to the dry cleaner, everything sent off, and we prepare for all the negative vibrations to be dismissed and all the positive vibrations to be again established. So when the home is partially completed and you move into it, that's great. You're camping out there. Do the Griha Pravesh when the home is complete and the contractors say goodbye and there are no more shoes allowed in the house. Then do the same thing. Wash it, clean it, purify it, and do the ceremonies for Shal Karma. So yes, you can do it again and again. I have read where it says that January to June are the most auspicious times for first entry into a home. I don't know where you read that. Kalima, I believe you certainly want to move in during the Shukla Paksha, the bright fortnight. But I've never read January to June. It's different in various environments according to the weather. You don't want to be moving your fancy living room furniture in the rain. You don't want to be carrying your bedroom mattresses through mud. So there are certain practicalities that you'll want to observe. But you can move in anytime during the Shukla Paksha. Is there any negative effect from doing so in the second half of the year? And if so, what action can be taken to nullify this negativity? I don't believe that any negative vibration or negativity results to the occupiers of a house who move in from July to December. I don't know where that came from, but we don't subscribe to that in our philosophy. Are there any more do's and don'ts that you can share with us? Don't lose your center. Do realize God. Those are the twos that I'll mention first. Bharati asks, if Vastu is not proper, what are the corrections to be made so family residing there is more sattvic? Well, the first thing is, if you really believe in Vastu or Feng Shui or any of these other spiritual applications to architecture, then build the house yourself. However, if you can't build the house yourself, that's not appropriate for your circumstances, then you fill that house with music, you fill that house with worship, you fill that house with mantra, you pay respect and honor your partners within that house and honor their children within that house and show your children an example of people that are living in love and respect and the whole community is working together, and that'll make it more sattvic. I have heard a house that has an east-facing front door is the only one we should ever buy. That negative energies enter the house if you have a front door facing any other direction. I haven't heard that. Now, if you want to have the most sattvic household that you can possibly have, and you want to build it according to the directions of an architect educated in Vastu Shastra or in Feng Shui or in any of the other architectural disciplines, the spiritual applications of architectural disciplines, then you are certainly entitled. But to say that every door that faces the outside is allowing negative energies, I just don't buy it. I just don't believe you. I think that's a bunch of bunk. Now, in our Devi Mandir temple here, we have a door that faces the west and a door that faces the east. We have a door that faces the south. We have no door on the north side. Now, those are to the outside. I don't believe there's any negative energy coming in through those doors. Why would I program my brain to even consider such a foolishness? Oh, the door's in the wrong place, therefore negativity will come in? No! My mind is in the wrong place and therefore negativity comes in. Negativity doesn't come in through open doors. Negativity comes in through the garbage in, garbage out. If I listen to it and believe it and think about it and churn it and try to apply it to my life, my circumstances, I've assumed that negativity. But if I have doors to the outside and all sides and further, then that's fine. I live according to my rhythm. And I'm not making japa of, oh, the negativities are going to get me. I'm making japa of the goddesses are going to protect me. So if you have this kind of attitude, if you have a positive attitude, I wouldn't put too much credence into which side the door is facing. Can you explain the Brahmastan? What should be included in the Brahmastan? There are many applications of a Brahmastan. First of all, this is called the Brahmastan, where the Sahasrara houses Brahma and the Parabrahma. And this is the true Brahmastan. So what should be included in the Brahmastan? Sat Chit Ananda. Now, if you're talking about the Brahmastan as being the center room of your house where the gods are kept, your altar, the central place for meeting, then everything should be one with Brahma. Everything should be sattvic that goes into that environment. And you want to maintain that environment to the best of your ability. Will a conch blowing in the home purify it from any negativity? Not from any negativity, but from many negativities. The conch shell in the home is that conch contains all the vibrations, and when you blow it, you fill your ears with sound, so that with the vibration of the conch, so that no other sound can permeate your ears. You're not listening to anybody else. You're just filled with the spandana, the vibration, the sound, the vibrating frequencies of divinity, the call of the gods. So yes, but however, there are some negativities that it won't purify. For example, if the person who's blowing the conch shell has lost their center, and she is blowing and thinking, what a so-and-so, then it won't purify. But the sound of the conch will fill the house with a purity of vibrations. Dan, namaste Dan, traditionally is this ceremony repeated at any time? Dan, traditionally, you can do this ceremony every time you have a cause. Say you're putting new carpet in the house or repainting the walls. Yes, absolutely you can repeat this ceremony. In fact, you should repeat this ceremony. And from time to time you should paint your house. Ushama, namaste. Swamiji, do you recommend Agni Hotra with ghee, rice, and cow dung as fuel at the exact time of sunrise or sunset? It is supposed to purify and heal. Usha, Agni Hotra is different from Havan, which is different from Yajna. Now, the differences really are in scope and intensity. Agni Hotra starts from a little bowl, and it grows into a very small Havan Kun, what we call egg hot, maybe the length of one hand, one arm's length. That could be an Agni Hotra, and it usually consists of an abbreviated Homa Padoti. Now, Homa is bigger in scope and longer in scope, and Yajna is even bigger in scope and longer in scope. So a Homa may last a few hours and a Yajna may last several days. Agni Hotra may last from 15 minutes to an hour. So these are generally the differences. Now you can perform with these ingredients And you can do that as part of your daily sadhana. You can add that to your daily nitya karma. That's very good to purify the house. You see crazy people like me always have smoke-filled rooms and black walls and charcoal ceilings, and it's not appropriate for living with human beings in a residential neighborhood. You have to sort of be far away from society. Civilization doesn't gravitate towards people like me. And in that kind of situation, you've got the ghee, rice, cow dung is fine. All of that works very nicely. We use wood and what we call masala. It's a mixture of rice, barley, black sesame seeds, ghee, milk, sugar, and honey, and we mix it, but it's a little bit dry, and then that's our hobby. That's the offering that we make. And to do at sunrise and sunset is always conducive. We do every sunrise and sunset as well. At least 2 sandhyas. Remember, there are 3 sandhyas, where the junction between night and day, which is morning, and then the junction between day and night, which is evening. Good call, sunrise and sunset. And then in the middle of the day is the 3rd sandhya, and for Sri Vidya meditators, those who worship the Divine Mother as the goddess of the knowledge of the highest respect, they worship at midnight too. So you see, all of us insomniacs have a purpose behind getting up in the middle of the night. So it does purify, and it heals, and it focuses your mind, and it centers you in your spiritual discipline. It makes spirituality a reality for us. It's not an avocation. It is the primary purpose of our lives. Julia asks, at the Devi Mandir, there are lions in front of the doors. Please explain about these. Singha Pakini Matatum. She rides on a lion. And so wherever we love lions, the lion is Dharma. He's the king of the forest. He's the king of all animals. And even the biggest of elephants cowers in fear with when he hears the roar of the lion. So the lions exemplify Dharma. They are the Vahan of Durga. She rides the victory to the lion rider. And so that's why we have lions at the front door. Papia from Philadelphia. Papia, namaste. Is there a puja or a mantra one can recite on a daily basis to keep the home free from all negative influences, including from intruders or people who wish us ill? Papia, I would suggest you have a guru mantra that will be very helpful. I would add to that the Nirvana mantra, because she is always with us in every form, every change that takes place. And I would suggest Om Eng Ring Kling Chamunda Ebiche. That would be a wonderful place to start. Poppy again asks, if our home is situated next to a wooded area or meadows, do we also have a responsibility to the wildlife that live there? Yes, beautiful. That will be very, very helpful for us to take care of others. And so whenever our pujas call for an offering to all the beings of the universe, then we can go out in the forest and give something to Prakriti and give something to the animals of the forest. You may have noticed in our Devi Mandir we have deer, peacocks, rabbits, chipmunks, squirrels, and all assorted kinds of friends that live in our Devi Mandir ashram. There's snakes and butterflies and lots of fish in the pond. We've got so many beings around around here, and we try to make an offering to each of them every day. When Ma comes out of the temple, the peacocks gather around her immediately. They come running. Sri Ma has come. The notice goes out into the neighborhood, and they all come running immediately, and Ma gives them prasad from her offering. Those are the questions that I have about Griha Pravesh. Let's see, Nanda, do you have any other questions about Griha Pravesh?
We have a few.
Okay.
This is from Vishweshwar from Napa.
Namaste, Vish.
Is the home considered a living being? Do we put life into the home when we begin ownership? And do we remove the life when we move out or sell the home?
Well, you do pran pratishta to the home, and that is your Vastu Deva. So the house is the embodiment of your family is going to live inside the protection of that household. So yes, you do put the established life into the house, and you take that life with you because it's going to go to the next place you're going to live. So you'll do a Visarjan as well. When you take all your deities away, you'll take away the pran from the house as well. But you're not taking all the life out of the house, you're just taking your portion of it. So you can take it to the next house and establish it there. Nanda? Namaste, Ambika. Namaste, Sham.
Is there anything special one should do outside of the home to extend the temple qualities of our home? In particular, I'm thinking about planting of a flower and vegetable garden.
Well, that's a very beautiful sentiment, Ambika. Certainly, it's appropriate to plant a flower and vegetable garden. You want your environment inside the home and outside the home to reflect your spiritual values. So that when people approach your home, they know they're coming into a place that is regarded with respect, it's maintained with respect, it's treated with respect. You cultivate that attitude of respect. Oh, I definitely think that that's appropriate, and that will be a wonderful addition to the beautification of the environment, so that everyone, including yourself, all the residents, including Sham, and you'll all feel that vibration when you come, even approach the house, that you're in a sacred space. Nanda? Mother never goes to a house where there's not a tulsi plant. So I would definitely recommend that you plant a tulsi plant somewhere in your garden. In fact, when we came to America, Mother didn't have a tulsi plant where we were staying, and so she wrote a song to Tulsi. Can you sing that song, Sri Ma? Can't. All right. Well, the song said, "Victory to Tulsi. You are within me. You are without me. You are the goddess above all beings born. And we bow to you and honor you." Jai Tulsi. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I need to get it.
Okay. Nanda?
Amika is asking, if we have fireplaces in our home and not able to place yantras in it or keep it going continuously, is there something we can do when we light this fire? And is there a way to make the ashes from the fireplace holy?
Yes. First of all, clean out all the occasional ashes. All the ashes that came from just having social fires. And then start over. You can draw the yantra on the floor of the fireplace underneath the grate. And you can worship the yantra with the flowers. Or you can make the yantra on the back wall of the fireplace. You can even put it there visually without even drawing it. You know where it is. Om Dar Shaktaki Namo Kurmai Namo Namtaki Namo Prithivir Namo Shivra Subudrai Namo Shweta Dipai Namo Mani Mandapai Namo Kalpa Briksai Namo Mani Mandapai Namo. You can just visualize where is the yantra and what does it mean and how does it fit together. You can see it on the wall, you can see it on the floor and do the puja. We did many homas in people's fireplaces. There is no reason. And then if you only have homa ashes, those are sacred ashes, you can use for tilak, you can use for blessings, you can use for purifying the house, you can use for making a Lakshmana Rekha all around the perimeter of the house. There is nothing wrong with that. Nanda?
Usha is asking, how important are the exact times of sunrise and sunset?
Not very. If your puja lasts only 1 minute, then it's extremely important. However, if your puja lasts 2 or 3 hours, so you start before sunrise and you end after sunrise. You start before sunset and you end after sunset. The exact time of the sunrise or sunset is not so important. Nanda? Pets that share the space inside the house communicate an animalistic vibration. They may be very loving and cuddly, etc., but they are animals, and they are not the most elevated souls that you could bring. So if you have pets, you might want to have pets that stay outside the house so that you maintain the sacred space of the house, and that is the space which is appropriate for the gods. I wouldn't want people bringing their dogs and cats into the temple. And in the same way, if you have pets running around the temple, they're going to distract you. They're going to disturb you. They're going to not treat your space, your sacred space, with the similar amount of respect that you want it treated. So I think it's very important that you keep a space only for divine beings. And then if you want to have pets that stay outside of that area. Nanda?
Dad is asking, where exactly do we establish Prana Pratishtha in a house for Vasudeva?
Well, exactly you do it when you move in. Exactly you do it when you move out and move in again. So those are the most favorable times, Dan. Of course, if you've not done it already, then you can do it right now. Now is the best time to make puja to your house, or tomorrow morning, or in the Shukla Paksha, because this happens to be Krishna Paksha, and that's a rite of passage that we will want to do during the bright fortnight. So that's called Shala Karma, and this is a Shala. This is a Mandap Shala, there's a Griha Shala, there's a Dharam Shala, there's a Go Shala, there are many different, it's a structure, or it's called Griha Pravesh. And you can do it at any time. Nanda?
How do we pick a good day for doing a Griha Pravesh?
Well, most days in the Shukla Paksha and the bright fortnight are good, especially Ashtamang cha Chaturdasham, Navamang Chekadasham cha, and Purnima. Those are Ashtami, Navami, Chaturdasi, Purnima. Those are the best. Now, if you really want to be exact, in the almanac, especially the Bengali Panjika, it's called in Bengali, they tell you in every month which days are most appropriate for which ceremonies. So it's all figured out for you. if you have a specific date range in question, send me an email and I'll look it up for you. Nanda?
Maharaj, Dan is clarifying his question. He says, where does one perform the puja to Vasudeva, not when? So he's asking, do you make a yantra for under the house?
Oh, if you're building the house from scratch, then make a yantra for under the house. We did one for all of our houses here on the property. We did one under our temple. We also made a time capsule under the foundations and under the slabs, and we placed some of our most important books in protective covering, which we was waterproofed and time-proofed, and hopefully it contained a letter that said, hey, we are putting these books here because we're dedicating this construction to these principles. And we want the books and the knowledge and the wisdom of the Sanatana Dharma to be the foundation of our temple. So our temple rests upon the foundation of knowledge of Sanatana Dharma, and thereafter this temple is dedicated to the preservation of this knowledge. So if any of you find these books, it means that you have taken apart our temple, and you've taken apart the slab, and you've dug up this time capsule, and now we pray that you read the books. And we had that kind of a letter enclosed in the time capsule. And not only did we put such a time capsule underneath the foundation of our temple, but also our Shala, our residences, all the buildings that we created. We also did a Panchagni Homa here. You might even look at that on our website. I think there's a video called The Consecration of the Temple. And it showed where I did the yajna with 5 fires, and it was in the summertime. We did whatever we could to purify the land and the foundation and the area and the environment even before we started to build stuff here. So we made the yajna, we put the yantra, we buried the books, we then covered it with a cement casing and steel reinforcement, and then we started digging the foundation on top of that. So whatever we thought we could do, we tried our best to complete. Nanda?
Devi is asking, on the subject of animals in the house, how does it relate to having the lingam and homa outside where all the animals come up? She says she finds coyotes and deer coming up to the homa.
Well, you know, we place a screen over our homa fire when we're not using it so that nobody gets hurt or falls in, and nobody desecrates it or treats it disrespectfully. In regards to the Shiva Lingam, you may want to put it in some kind of an enclosed area, or put a little hat on top of him, or put a little fence around him so that you could pull it away, and no animals will come and treat him disrespectfully. However, our Shiva Lingam, we find that the deer come every night and worship him. They come every morning when we go for our walk. We see them sitting around the Shiva Lingam, and they're all making jap of Om Namah Shivaya. Nanda?
The Amrita is asking, if we take the attitude that our home is our temple, then is everything in it holy? Should we limit the amount of knickknacks, non-spiritual books, decorations, etc.?
If you can, more power to you. I believe that knickknacks are going to be distractions, and they're just more things to move when you dust. If you have spiritual things or meaningful things, that's certainly important to you. Your non-spiritual books are probably distractions as well. So you want to minimize that unless they serve some purpose or function. If you just fill up your bookcases with junky books, just so that we look like we're avid readers, it probably doesn't make much sense. But if you're surrounded with wisdom, if you're surrounded with philosophers, I lived in a room which was on 3 walls from the floor to the ceiling books. And they were all spiritual books. And I just felt, there were spiritual books, there's philosophical books, or history books. And I was a bookworm in a previous incarnation. So therefore, I felt like I was surrounded with the greatest friends I could possibly have. And all these guys, they would just bless me every day. We would have a wonderful time. I was alone, but never lonely. So that makes sense. But if you have trash novels and junky books and worldly stuff, or not, it doesn't make sense to fill up the space. Nanda?
That was the last of the questions on Suresh. We can move on to the next topic.
Wonderful. Namaste. Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Now we're going to discuss the Antyeshthi, or the funeral rites, or the rites of cremation. And actually the funeral rites are divided into a number of portions. The first is if you have the opportunity, the privilege to be with the individual who is leaving his or her body at the time of departure. So the first thing you want to do is keep that environment as full of mantra as you possibly can. It's said in our tradition that the last thought that an individual carries with them as they exit the body is the first thought that they're going to think when they move into a next incarnation. So we want to make that environment as pure as possible, as clear as possible, as inviting as possible, and keep spiritual books there, keep mantra, keep japa, keep chanting as much as we can. We want to escort that individual to the precipice with the greatest respect for Dharma that we are capable of giving. Now, we will also want to respect other people's traditions and other people's attitudes, so that when they want to live or reside in the aura of their tradition, so we can chant softly, we can chant silently, do a lot of meditation, a lot of japa, and if you can, present a rudraksha, if you can, present some Ganga water, if you can, present some ash from the holy fire. And these would be the 3 gifts that are most cherished. That and your mantra. Most appropriate is Gayatri mantra. The second is Trambakam. If you have the opportunity, you can do the entire Chandipat. You can do the Shiva Sahasranam, Vishnu Sahasranam. All are appropriate recitations. The Devi Gita is extremely appropriate. Especially to chapter 2 and chapter 10, both have vidhis for how do you perform the last rites. If you read these 2 chapters at the time of Shraddh or Tarpan, then you will be give blessings and get blessings for the whole family. So now let's move to the preparation of the body. This can be done at home if you have that opportunity, or the preparation can be done in the cremation ground itself. In every cremation ground there is a dais which you can put the litter on, which contains the body, and we make preparation when possible in the cremation grounds. The vidi is the same whether you do it at home or in the cremation ground. What you'll do is you do the puja. Usually it's performed by the oldest son. He performs the Sankalpa, Ganeshadi, Shanti, Swasti, Vachan, and he takes he establishes a pot, a koilash, in front of the body, and he performs pran pratishtha. And generally, if it's a male, we do Shiva puja. If it's a female, we do Durga puja, or whatever ishta was most prevalent in that family. So if they're Vaishnava, you'll do Vishnu, Krishna, Krishikesha, Vasudeva, Janardana. If it was a female, are they Lakshmi Ling? Are they Kali Ling? Are they, who is the Ishta of that family? And then after you make Pran Pratishtha, Jap, you make Naivedya, and then you bathe the body, and you give a Panchamrita Snan. And it's not like you collect a little bit of the Panchamrita in a bowl. You wash the entire body with milk, yogurt, ghee, honey, and sugar. And then you cover the entire body with Rakta Chandan, with red sandal paste. And give it tilak, and you give sindur, and you treat that deity with the greatest respect that you possibly can. Now, we clothe the body in new cloth, and wrap the body in new cloth, and then we are ready to carry the body to the pyre. Generally, we have at least 3 layers on the bottom and 2 layers on the top. We have the 3 layers of Sattva Tama upon which she sits, and Shiva Shakti, the layer of Atma, Paramatma, manifested existence and infinite consciousness on top, covering the body. So you place the wood, and you place the body, and you take the deep you take your 3 torches from the pradip that was lit for the puja, and you make parikaram around the body 3 times. You chant the Gayatri mantra and walk around the body holding the torches, and each pass you touch the lips of the deceased with the torch. You touch the mouth with the fire each time, so that everything that individual has spoken has become purified. Nothing but purity can come out, and you keep the Gayatri mantra chanting, and you circumambulate the body and touch the mouth. On the 3rd time, you touch the mouth, you put the fire underneath, you've got combustible materials underneath. In various regions of India, they do it differently. In some places, in the Himalayas, they use pine pitch underneath. In the plains, they use straw. In West Bengal, they use coal. In various places, they use various combustible materials to ignite the fire. And when the flames rise up and start to engulf the body, then we sit down and either recite the Vishnu Sahasranam or the Shiva Sahasranam. If you're Vaishnava, then you remember in the Bhishma Stavaraj, Bhishma was shot, filled with arrows, and he was lying on his deathbed, and all the Pandavas and Kauravas, Duryodhana and his evil army, and Yudhishthira and his army of goodness, they all sat around the dying body, and they stopped the war for 6 months. When Bhishma was shot, the sun just moved into the southern hemisphere, and Bhishma was granted Ichamrityu. He could leave his body when he decided. So he said, well, wait a minute, stop the war. I'm not going while the sun is in the southern hemisphere. Wait till the sun, if you go during the summer, when the sun is in the southern hemisphere, you go to the Pitrylok. If you go when the sun is in the northern hemisphere, you go to the Devalok. I want to be one with the gods, therefore I'm stopping. And he started to discourse with all the disciples, all the grandchildren. He was Pitamaha, and he was telling them what to do. They asked all kinds of questions about Dharma, and they asked about the various rites of passage, and actually the Bhishma Purva became one of the most the broadest sections of the entire Mahabharata. Where Bhishma is discoursing on laws and customs, traditions, history, dharma, and everything else under the sun comes out of the mouth of Bhishma. And one of the questions that he was asked, and I believe it was Vaishampayan who asked the question. Vaishampayan asked, what is the most important thing to remember at the time of death? And Bhishma replied, the name of Vishnu. If you can remember the name of Vishnu at the time of death, you will go to Vishnu Lok, you will end up in Vaikuntha, you'll be one with the gods, you'll be one with with Vishnu, you will be one with the consciousness which pervades all. So if you're a Vaishnava, you read the Vishnu Sahasranam while the body is burning. If you're Shaiva, you read the Shiva Sahasranam while the body is burning. Or you can choose any other scripture that you want. Now, in some places, I got my basic training in Bokreshwar, in the cremation grounds, and I used to make ohuti during the offering. That was even a greater honor to the deceased, to be the recipient of the offerings of the Chandipat. So I would recite the entire Chandi and make offerings. And I did that for some individuals who are highly respected by me. Now, when the burning of the body is complete, the pot is complete, the offerings are complete, you circumambulate the pyre 3 times with, you make Visarjan of the Kailash. You take the coconut off the Kailash, and you take the water and you sprinkle it all around as to wash and purify the area. And then we're going to break the Kailash, which symbolizes, look, this is the body of God, and we established the deity, and we burnt the body, and now we're breaking this clay pot, and now the body is released from form into the formless. It's released from manifestation, and it's become ashes, and now those ashes are going to go into the river, and they're going to mingle with the ocean, and the finite has become infinite. So we push the whole works, the broken pot, the charred charcoal, the ashes, everything goes into the waters of the river. And then we wash the whole area down, and we perform tarpan. Om Devams Tarpyami. You have Krishna Til. You take a palm full of water, some black sesame seeds, some tulsi leaves, and you take it with this Mrig Mudra, this the Kalpatara Mudra, and you take the tarpan and Devams Tarpayami, Rishings Tarpayami, Pitrings Tarpayami, and then we recite, of course, the mantras Pita Swarga, Pita Dharma, Pita Ki Paramam Tapa, Pitari Priyamapine Priyanti Sarva Devata, Asishame Pradyantam, Pitaro Mataro Mama, Nirvignam Sarvakarishu, Kurudvatsa Ganadipa, Om Pitri Charanevyo Namaha. I'm taking your blessings, the My ancestors are my heaven. My ancestors are my param tapa. That's my shrestapasya, my highest austerity. My ancestors are my highest dharma. If my ancestors are pleased, then all the gods are pleased. Do you know any mama who wants something bad for her children? If the ancestors are pleased, if our kids are doing the right things, then we are happy with what they're doing, then they're happy with what we're doing, then we're all in harmony. I get to be in harmony with my ancestors and with the gods, with the guru. That's when they'll be happy. So now we make pranam. We return to the household. We take our bath. Either you can take it in the river before you leave if you brought clean clothes with you. Otherwise, you put on new clothes and then you feed everybody who helped. And all the guests who come, and you make the food. For 10 days, according to your tradition, you could do Gita every day, or you do Bhagavat Parayan, you could do Ramayan, you could do Chandi Pat, whatever sadhana, kirtan, but you don't do puja. Because we're in this period of mourning. There's no chopping wood, carrying water. It's not a soch. It's not because you're impure. It's because it's time that you go inside and contemplate wisdom and manifest wisdom. So for 10 days we manifest wisdom, we contemplate wisdom, we sing kirtan, we celebrate that we had the privilege to know such an individual. We celebrate that we were afforded the opportunity to be able to be with such a person and perform these rites for them on their behalf. We celebrate that as we sow, so shall we reap. And as we have given, so we're earning the privilege to receive, that we can have the same respect offered to us as we have been offering to others. Now, on the 10th day, we bathe, shave, wear new clothes, perform your Nitya Karma Puja, enkindle the Havan Kund, and you perform Shrad, Tarpan, and Dakshina, Pranam. This is the Vidhi. You do the Shrad. The Shrad is on our website, and also the Tarpan is on our website under teachings. Dakshina, you want to give all the Brahmins who taught us this knowledge. You want to sing from the Devi Gita again, especially chapter 2 and chapter 10. And you sing kirtan and feed all the guests and give everybody prasad. And in honor of the departed, you want to give the best that you possibly can to everyone. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.